We have a major update on Precious Achiuwa and when he's going to return from that hamstring injury for the Knicks. Recently, he spoke to the media, and in that interview, he revealed he has one final obstacle remaining before he can return for New York. We're going to break down exactly what that final hurdle is and so much more today. But before we get started, guys, about 55% of you watching this video right now are not subscribed to the channel. We are so close to our goal of 20,000 subscribers, and we could really use your support. If you enjoy daily Knicks content like this, please consider hitting that subscribe button because it could really support all the great content that we're creating for you. And now, let's get started. Return incoming. Precious Achiuwa is clearing the final hurdle to return for the Knicks. I remember it like it was yesterday. It was October 18th, the Knicks' final preseason game. Precious Achiuwa goes up for a play, and then he comes down awkwardly. He walks off the court. Why? It's because he strains his left hamstring, and after that game, we don't see him play a meaningful minute for New York for this entire season. We are almost 20 games in, ladies and gentlemen, and Achiuwa has still not returned. And in his absence, we've seen this Knicks team go up and down, especially on the defensive side of the ball. But once Achiuwa comes back, he'll definitely help us on that end. And maybe we'll see that double big lineup that I've been hoping for, that I think will help the Knicks on the defensive side of the ball. But the main question is, when is he going to return? When is Achiuwa finally going to come back? Well, recently, he spoke to the media and he says he has to clear one final obstacle before he can come back for New York. Let's break down those latest reports and see exactly what that final hurdle is. Shout out to Steph Bondi of the New York Post for giving us these following updates. According to him, 6 weeks after Precious Achiuwa was shelved with a hamstring strain, the backup big broke his silence and revealed the final hurdle before his long-awaited return. According to Achiuwa, I need to get to that point where I'm able to build confidence with myself again. I'm an explosive player. For me to be able to explode, I'm going to have to build that confidence. Achiuwa, who was ruled out of today's game against the New Orleans Pelicans, said he doesn't know when that will happen, but he's practicing full contact and remains day-to-day. After today's game against the Pelicans, the Knicks play at home on Tuesday against Orlando, Thursday against Charlotte, and Saturday against Detroit. Once I get to that point where I feel like I'm optimal to play, I'll be out there playing, according to Achiuwa. As we just heard, the final obstacle for Achiuwa sounds to be more like it's mental. Having confidence that he can still play his regular game, that he can still be explosive. Once he has that confidence in his game and he trusts himself, trusts his ability to make these plays, he is going to return for the Knicks. That is absolutely the final hurdle. He's already taking contact. He's already going through full practice. He's doing everything he needs to do to return for this team. The last hurdle is mental, but you know what? I'd rather him take his time and return when he's ready. If he's not comfortable or he's having issues mentally, when he's out there, if he returns, he's going to play worse. I don't want to see that. I want to see Achiuwa come back and have a major impact because I think he can do that, especially off the bench, especially if he's playing significant minutes. But that's going to be up to Tom Thibodeau and what he does with his minutes and how he utilizes him with this roster. If I'm Thibodeau and I see the defense the way I'm seeing it now, it's an easy decision. Late in games, if the defense is still an issue, I am playing Towns at the 4 and Precious Achiuwa at the 5. And then I'll switch them on offense and I'll play Towns at the 5 and Achiuwa at the 4. That's how I'll do it if I'm Tom Thibodeau. Because if I do that, that gives me the best lineup out there on defense and on offense that I can ever put together with this roster. Because Achiuwa, unlike Mitchell Robinson, he is fluid on offense. He can move without the ball. And when he moves without the ball, good things happen. So I don't mind him doing that. I would much rather him do that than Mitchell Robinson. And that's only because Achiuwa has the skill set to make that work. Him and Towns together sounds like it could work perfectly. But it's going to be up to Thibodeau to let us see that. Bondi continues here by stating, the recovery has taken longer than the Knicks originally indicated. Achiuwa, 25, suffered the strain in the preseason finale on October 18th and was given a 2 to 4 week window before reevaluation. It was the only official update or timeline provided by the Knicks, until Coach Tom Thibodeau said last week that Achiuwa was cleared to practice. According to Achiuwa, it's a very long process. It's tough. Any player would want to be out there playing, especially seeing the game and knowing there's things you can probably do out there. That's the toughest part. Achiuwa, who can also knock down an occasional three-pointer, was one of the better Knicks performers in the preseason before his injury. According to Achiuwa, I think one of my biggest gifts is defensive versatility, being able to guard multiple positions, 1 through 5. For me, coming back, we're already probably the best offense in the league right now. So how can I add on to the team on the defensive end and being able to make us elite on that side? I think we do have the potential to be elite defensively. Precious Achiuwa is more of a power forward than a center, and unlike Sims, elicits confidence from Thibodeau to be in the same lineups as Karl Anthony Towns. His presence might help with the glaring issues protecting the rim that are occurring right now with Towns at center. 2 words for you guys: defensive versatility, being able to guard 1 through 5. That is exactly what we need right now. And once Achiuwa returns, he's going to be giving that to this team. And he might be able to play right alongside Karl Anthony Towns. If he's able to do that and able to switch with Towns on offense and on defense, that's going to make the Knicks so much more dangerous. It makes you feel so good to hear from a player returning that he's not even thinking about his offense or scoring or anything like that. He's been on the sidelines watching this team, watching how we've been operating and seeing where we need help the most. And the one thing he said was defense. And when he returns, he wants to help us on that side of the floor because he thinks we can be elite on the defensive side of the ball. And maybe we can under head coach Tom Thibodeau. Maybe we can when we get other players returning from injury. But right now, hearing Achiuwa say that, hearing him say he wants to help the Knicks become even more elite defensively because he knows that's our weakness, that's exactly what I want to hear. I'm even more hyped now for his return because when he comes back, he's not only going to help us on the offensive side of the ball. He's not going to only be able to move without the ball. He's going to be able to get you rebounds. He's going to be able to get you blocks. But more importantly, Tom Thibodeau might have the confidence in him to play him right alongside Karl Anthony Towns. If you do that, you magically give us exactly what I've been waiting for all season long, the double big lineup. And if it works, and in my opinion, it will work, Thibodeau will go to it each and every game. Because how can you not? That lineup in my head will give you offense, will give you defense, and it will not clog up the paint because Achiuwa is not Robinson. He doesn't stand still. He moves. That's the biggest part to all of this. Because he moves without the ball, and he has such a high level of basketball IQ, it makes him the perfect person to play right alongside Karl Anthony Towns. And if he can work on that three-point shot, if he can improve it just enough to be a threat, it changes the entire game for New York because that gives you two big men in your lineup that can shoot the three. Towns and Achiuwa. Talk about dangerous. Talk about unstoppable. Talk about a roster when we come together and that chemistry finally gets in sync. We are going to be a nightmare for the league. Nobody's going to want to play against the Knicks. Right now, teams want to play against us because it's early and we haven't figured it all out yet. They think they can use that as an advantage. But once we get it all together, there's no more advantages. There's just the Knicks going into your town or you coming to visit us and we slaughtering you, blowing you out and moving on to the next game. We're capable. We're talented. And according to these reports, we are extremely close to getting Precious Achiuwa coming back. And that's exactly what we need. Defensive versatility, Achiuwa's going to give you that and so much more. But what about you guys? What do you think about these latest reports indicating that Achiuwa is very close to returning? The last hurdle he has to clear is mental. He just needs to get to a point where he's able to build that confidence back with himself and his game. Let me know how you feel about that in the comment section below, guys, because honestly, I would love to hear from you. But that's going to do it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, go ahead and smash that like button, leave a comment below. And of course, guys, please subscribe to the channel. Until next time, Knick fans, take care of yourself, your families, and each other. Peace and love.